trying anything right now. So
Now,
I know, right?
as you guys, like people who like to play video games, also, I'm kind of just getting back into it after like 7 years off. Like I played Far Cry 3 for a long time, and then
what a good
took years
game.
off once I had kids and all that stuff. Now I'm back at it. Do
Dude,
you
Far Cry
juggle
is so
games,
great.
or do you just focus on one game at a time?
I usually just do one at a time, because if I switch to another one and I get into it, I will forget what I really hate going back to a game, like an old save, and I don't remember what the fuck I was doing
Right.
with anything.
And you do not
Yeah.
you don't feel as confident at all. You're like,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm gonna be able to finish this
The
game.
biggest issue is all the junk that I've organized for the things that I'm going to do with them, because I'm obviously going to use all of it.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do
one at a time. I'm a one at a timer too. I like to stay in that frame of mind. Like, especially a game that has a good story. I just like to.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now with the Red Dead. But the thing is, sometimes
that story broke my heart.
Well, it hasn't completely broke my heart yet. So. No spoilers again. No, I'm just
just because I missed the old cowboy days. That's the only reason
missed
it
the
broke
old
my
cowboys.
heart.
Yeah, there's something nostalgic about it. It's like in our DNA that connects with the West.
I don't know. I don't think I would have survived for very long.
No, why is that?
I'm a scaredy cat. I'm afraid of everything.
Well, you would have a gun. You would have plenty of guns. You would have a horse,
a posse.
You would have a GPS somehow.
Yeah, the wind,
the compass. I'm still trying to share this goddamn video. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm doing the same thing. We're unprofessional.
I know. Share now. Share to your story. Oh, I shared it to my dumb story.
Don't share it to your story. That's not. All right.
It's Facebook talk, Melissa.
When years ago I'd play Red Dead 2, or no, the first Red Dead Redemption.
I haven't.
The first one was Red Dead Revolver, right?
I haven't played it.
And then,
that was the first one, and then Red Dead
Redemption.
Redemption for Xbox 360 changed the game.
Yeah,
I mean, it blew people away at the time.
And so I played that, and I would sit, and that's when I started getting into scotch and whiskey, because I was like feeling like a cowboy sitting on my couch, riding on the horse. I would just go sightseeing.
It did make me love. Like, actually, when the COVID stuff first started, the first step that New Mexico took was you couldn't sit at the bar, but you could stand at it. And I was like, well, fuck yeah, this is
what I needed.
That's kind of cool. You just walk up to the bar and like.
That was for like a day before everything got actually shut down. So.
Is it still shut down over there, or are things better?
So it started to loosen up and then spiked. So as of this last Monday of last week, they like closed everything again, except for like there's still patio for restaurants. Bars can only be operating if a certain percentage of their menu is food. Or no, not menu, a certain percentage of their like income.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if they're selling more booze than food, then
they
might
can
have to
get
close?
shut down. Yeah.
Wow,
so there's a lot of like pub places where people mostly go there to drink, not to eat, but they do have a full menu. So they pretty much are staying open until they're forced to shut down, I guess.
Are there a lot of mask wearers in New Mexico, or is this like an area that's like the Wild West, as they say?
Yeah, I see most people with masks on, few without, and most stores have been regulated that they will not allow you in without.
That's great. I just went to Savannah and Asheville, and it was the same way. But in Florida, it's like a fucking nightmare here.
I forgot to respond to that part of your text about you saying, I forget exactly what you said, but I wanted to say you're just now finding out about how people feel about Florida. I mean,
well, it's
you know about the Florida man, right?
It's like a fish that's in a fish tank, realizing that it's surrounded by water all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Oh my God, there's water all around.
You're a native, Ramon. You should know this shit by now.
You would think, but like I didn't realize how many freaking it's people are so afraid of losing liberty in
It
such the
doesn't make
silliest
sense.
fashions.
Like, it's just like, even let's go on the farthest right whim and say that none of it is real. It's all fake. Okay, which I don't think that at all. But let's say that it is. And just on the off chance that it's not, and you don't want to kill somebody's grandma, like, just put a fucking mask on. And hey, you don't even have to brush your teeth if you don't want to, because no one's gonna smell your breath anymore. So
It's basically what Catholics do, right? Like, Catholics barely believe or whatever, but they show up to church just in case that there actually is an afterlife and actually is a God.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first. That's so perfect. That's exactly right. Just go
say a prayer every once in a while. Go to Easter Mass, because you never know, And it's the same thing with COVID.
COVID. What are you, French?
I don't know.
I don't know why that'd be French.
Well, that's like, I mean, I've been doing the like hardcore quarantine thing for it's been 1 week and 2 days.
It's been
really, like, not leaving at all.
Well,
like
my boyfriend's been watering my parents' garden because my dad's out of town right now for a family emergency. So I've gone with him a couple of times, but we stay outside. But basically, our friend who we watched the UFC fights with a couple Saturdays ago was he came home like towards the end of the main event and was like, so just gonna let you know right now that my boss tested positive for COVID. And my boyfriend had just seen the same friend like 2 days prior. So we're just playing it on the safe side, which sucks. We were supposed to go to his family's cabin this weekend, but his grandma's like 80 something. So we're not going to go, just on the off chance. So far, none of our friends have tested positive, but apparently, so the tests that they're doing here right now take like 6 days to yield results.
And so you haven't gotten
Jesus.
it yet?
So I haven't even gotten the test yet. We were kind of waiting for our friends. We had 2 friends that live in the same house.
Can you smell and taste?
Yeah, so far no symptoms other than
no loss of
hangovers
taste
on a regular basis because of all the drinking.
Well, what music have you been listening to?
Music?
Yeah, because that will tell us whether you've lost taste or not, I guess.
Oh, okay, I see where you're at. Answer is too slow. It's not fun anymore. But
yeah. So what's bugging me is like, it's not as fun. Like, when I didn't live in Florida, I loved the Florida is stupid news. And now that I live in Florida, it's like, fuck.
Well, see, and I lived in Florida for a short time, but I was a little kid. But the part that we lived in was pretty bad, like redneck wise. Like 20 minutes from Alabama. It was like, actually, it was like kind of near Pensacola. It's like
Crestview. Okay, small town. Just Panhandle area, like okay, yeah. That's basically what do they call that? Don't they call it like Alabama Light or something like that?
Yeah, something. I'm not sure. All I know is my mom was like really mad when my dad got orders for us to move there because she was worried about schools, and apparently I started picking up a draw like immediately when we lived there.
Oh yeah.
So you got out of there. Thank God.
Yeah, we were only there from kindergarten to I think halfway through 4th grade of my life.
Just think, your mom was worried about the schools back then.
Right.
Now the schools are reopening in Florida, and it's like there's a chance that you might die. Your teacher might die.
Well, think about the psychological effects of being in 2nd grade and not being able to like go near your best friend, or kids touch each other and like they wrestle and they play and whatever. Like,
I don't know if they're gonna keep their mask on. I feel like that's gonna be tough.
Well, and that sucks too. And all the the middle schoolers, all the acne they're gonna get around their mouths, like
oh yeah,
no.
That's gonna be a disaster.
Terrible. My
acne goatees.
My sister-in-law's a teacher at a private school, and so far they're still planning on opening. But she basically set up her classroom so the desks are all, I think she teaches 3rd grade. The desks are all, the 6 feet apart. And then during class, the teacher and the students all have to wear face shields instead of masks. That way they can see each other and have a little bit of air.
Oh my God.
like airflow, I guess,
Mhm.
so you know, you're
Right.
not getting all sweaty around. I get like, I don't get me wrong, I'm all for the masks, but I do like not like it after about 20 or 30 minutes. So people that are like wearing them to work and stuff, like I don't even know. I guess you get used to it. I don't know. I haven't had to do that yet.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think you just have to like go on more breaks or something. Because this
Yeah.
weekend, just going out to, out of state where there are mandated masks, I had to wear it more than I'm used to here in Florida, where it's just like a free for all. But um, it did take a little getting used to. But towards the end of the weekend, it just felt like, oh, like I just had my bandana around my neck and then just like flip it up as soon as I'm
Yeah.
walking by people or something, or
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's like phone, wallet, keys, mask before you leave
I
the
was
house.
just thinking that today. I was like, for the first, I had the same thought. I'm like, oh my god, I have to add mask into my
Yeah.
thing.
I think it's funny seeing guys with beards. Like my boyfriend has a pretty well, he's got a beard, scraggly, and it just looks funny when he puts the mask on because it's just like
Pushes the
all
hairs
stupid.
back.
it's like a
He looks even
70s
more
bikini.
homeless. I will never unsee that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Bush supporter.
I don't know.
Yeah.
New
it's
Mexico
still,
shut down pretty early too. Though, like our governor started locking things down when we had 13 cases, and I mean we're at like I don't know, probably over 10,000 now at this point.
Wow, we get 10,000 a day.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I think we just had like 1,400 today.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good, I guess, for Florida.
Yeah, I mean, what sport is it? Where the never mind. We're losing in all the sports. I feel like if all the analogies. Yeah,
But
just
speaking of sports, the basketball is soon, right? In the
Is it?
bubble. Disney
Mhm.
World, they have their little NBA bubble.
Oh yeah, they're
World.
worldwide, wide world is sports something complex.
I don't know.
But anyway,
just
yeah,
know
that's
that they,
coming back.
like-
Thank God. I miss
Yeah.
basketball.
I think it starts like soon. I don't remember the date. I just hear about it all the time because my circle of people are like going like jonesing without sports to watch.
Yeah, it's fucking tough. It's such a good distraction for so many people.
just
Yeah.
watching that documentary, just starting it today, just watching just a little bit of basketball. It's like, oh yeah, that is kind of nice to be able to watch something like that.
Yeah.
It's a good distraction. It's fun and entertaining. We don't have much entertainment, but you
was
brought
watching-
up like the psychological effect or impact
Oh,
on
yeah.
on students. Just imagine like if you're a second grader and it's because of you basically Trojan horsing in a bunch of coronavirus into your house and killing your grandmother, and then everyone's like, you brought this into this house,
Well,
and then
hopefully
having
they
to live
don't
with
say that to their second grader, but
Yeah.
People
but
do.
yeah, I mean,
Do you know what you did, Joey?
yeah, grandma's dead because of you,
Yeah.
and now the dog has it too.
like a tick,
Yeah.
like like a flea on a rat in the bubonic plague.
God.
The second grader carries into coronavirus and just destroys the entire family
Yeah.
tree.
It's just wild to me. Like, I know we're going to have so much more information at some point, hopefully in our lifetime, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I would assume so. And it's just strange how there doesn't seem to be any uniform way that people are reacting to it. And like,
That's a shame.
at first it was just old people, but now, there's people my age dying that were in good health, that people that were like fitness trainers and things like that. So it's like, it's almost like you have to have I don't know. I think Mother Nature is just thinning the herd.
I think like what I like to think about is if see in Florida we have 100 people dying a day, and then people who pretend like the coronavirus isn't a big deal, they like to say like, oh well, compared to the entire population, that's nothing. 100 people die a day from car accidents, blah blah blah. They do all these things,
right.
But like, just think about it. Like, if 100 people a day died from alligators in Florida, there would be a war in the Everglades.
There would be a thing. That would be a notable thing.
Right. You
For
could shoot on-site alligators. They would be the National Guard would be flown in. It would just be. But since the
Get a
enemy
free
is
ice cream
invisible,
for each alligator you kill.
since we don't see the coronavirus and it's this invisible thing,
That's
people
what's so
can't
scary about it.
you
'Cause
need
you
to put a
could pick it
face
up-
to things, We
And
need a
with-
mascot.
Yeah. There's like signs on the roads here that say like face mask or face fines or something like that. Because you can get
That's
fined
clever.
for not wearing a mask. I haven't heard of anybody that's actually been fined, but
that's unfortunately like that's what we need to that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
But like the countries that fucking don't have to worry about it right now are people that just like fucking all put their mask on.
that's the thing. And that's what bugs about the whole quarantine situation too, is none of the entire, like as a country, our country did not all do that. Everything's been by state. And that's why we're still plateauing up here while other countries are finally going back down, because people are actually like, all right, fine. Like the thing is, in America, for some reason, like if you tell someone to do something or even ask someone out of the kindness of their heart and compassion to do something, it just instigates a fit. Like it's never like, and it could be like if masks were cool randomly in some weird trend, it would be no issue. And if the government was like, don't wear masks, you're not like, I don't know. America's just such a big toddler.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
There's always a temper tantrum, and then they have the gall to call like the younger generation snowflakes.
Right.
Meanwhile, they can't handle wearing a mask for 2 weeks because they're afraid that we're going to become communist overnight because of the way. But meanwhile, they ignore the unmarked federal cars that are arresting protesters in Portland.
Right.
That they turn a blind eye to that tyranny. But then
Yeah.
the masks, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Wearing the mask. Hey, you know what? I'm going to stop wearing pants because you know what? Pants are infringing on my God-given American
I saw
rights.
the best analogy. It had to do with that. It was like a couple months ago when it first started becoming an argument about the masks. Someone said like, okay, so say someone's at the store and they pee their pants. Well, thankfully, because they have pants on, it really just gets on their pants and they have to deal with it. They said it in a much like shorter, better, more concise way. But basically, like if you don't wear pants, you're gonna pee on other people, and that's gross. So keep your pee to yourself. Put on a fucking mask. Like
that's a great analogy. Just it makes sense too. Like, of course, if you wear pants and you pee, you will not pee on other people.
I mean, you might drip
Very
a little
simple.
on the floor, but
Yeah, but
it's
most
still
of
gonna
it
be
will
less
be in your pants.
right.
I want to see with one of those infrared silhouette comparisons of someone who's wearing pants versus not wearing pants and peeing. You know, where you could see
They were
how
gonna
much
say.
pee
All the
is actually getting
droplets.
through. Yeah, it's like
Yes.
as you can see in this demonstration, the pee is more contained within the pants.
I just never. When I think about everything that's going on, I have to stop because it's just so surreal that we're living through this. It makes sense in the grand scheme of like the universe. I mean, it's true about every 100 years, the earth has gone through something major that is similar. So like, it makes sense. I just didn't see myself turning 30 during an international like pandemic. That's what a pandemic is. But yeah.
I think anybody did.
Yeah.
There hasn't been anything like this in anybody's lifetime.
Right.
And it seems like only the self-aware people, the introspective people are acknowledging it. And then there's the people who are just carrying on like
they're just going
nothing's ever
about like
happened.
this is another thing
Well,
happened.
Yeah. But there's something to be said about that. Like you were saying before, Melissa, it's just that like you can't focus on it all the time. Like my dad will focus on it all the time. And
yeah,
like,
my mom keeps the news on like the few times.
Yeah.
I don't watch the news anymore. I ask my boyfriend to fill me in on anything that I actually need to know because I was having active panic attacks, just swirling like, and I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use this as an opportunity where I don't have to lie to anybody about reasons that I don't want to go somewhere. And I'll just, I mean, we moved in the middle of this, which sucked, but is also been nice because now I'm just like focusing on like getting set up at home. And it's just really tragic in the mind to focus on how fucked up everything is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
you
is.
you gotta
It's
leave
sad.
it behind.
Yeah.
It could be sad, especially like I love going to Asheville. I've been there twice in the past 3 years or so, or this is 3 times. So basically once a year I've been gone for the past 3 years. And going this time, things were operational, but it was like the restaurants were set up like triage units or like FEMA camps. Like everything was out in the parking lot. There was tents, there was like picnic tables, and there was people yelling orders, and like it was not a great restaurant experience. It was hot. It was like, but that's the way all the breweries were. Like these businesses that were cute and like, oh, this is like cool vibe coffee shop is just like a fucking, here's your coffee. What do you need? Blah, blah, blah. It's just
Yeah.
like, wow. Like our culture is getting
And that's
ravaged by
another like
this.
psychological thing. I mean, can you imagine being 6 years old and like this is normal? Like 3 months time when you're 6 is a long time.
Long time.
And I don't know, like it's going to be really interesting in 20 years, like the plethora of emotional issues that are going to, I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
Like the Great Depression. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
With your grandparents, but with my grandparents, my grandfather seems like he's got PTSD from it. And he was born in 1931. So he lived through about 8 or 9 years of the Great Depression. And like, he still can't bring himself to pay more than a certain amount of money on food.
Yeah.
Like,
my grandpa he would literally like leave like 3 bites on his plate and scoop all of it into a little Tupperware. He would have just like miscellaneous food in a Tupperware, just like his fridge was full of leftovers.
little things.
Hoarding. My grandfather hoarded it in different ways, and it seems like that sticks with people. I mean, I would hope that this situation doesn't last for 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
You know, but like
if people don't put on their fucking masks.
Think about 9/11, how what happened with 9/11 was an isolated incident that killed a certain number of people, that our air travel has been forever changed because of that. Like we're still dealing with the echoes of that, and this coronavirus pandemic is way bigger when you think about it than 9/11.
Oh yeah.
On like a meta level, one of the things that I find interesting is because this generation is so, technology has boomed and isolation has already kind of been a topic, people just not connecting, and now we can't. I don't know. It's like we kind of built it ourselves a little bit.
Yeah. Or maybe this will help people appreciate connection more once we're out of it, hopefully.
I can't wait to hang out with a group of people. Shake hands,
hug.
Stay out late, smoke a cigarette. Even though I don't smoke cigarettes, I always like that social cigarette. I miss that.
Well,
just having like the ability, like just to the world just feel I don't know, like if you're frustrated with something, you can't just go for a drive and walk through Best Buy to look at something to distract, whatever. I mean, like just all these little things you never thought about.
That we took for granted. And now we're realizing, and that's how I felt this going on this vacation, which was nice still to get out. But then there were so many things that were just like, it's just like basically all the restaurants closed at like 8. They stopped serving at 8. And so
I don't understand that part of it.
I guess the coronavirus is more potent after 8 o'clock.
I mean, I guess it just minimizes
Comes out at night.
the length of time that employees are exposed. That's the only thing I can think of.
Gives them time to sanitize at the end of the day, maybe.
Oh, there you go. That's true. That's solid.
A little extra time.
I'm not like opposed or bothered by it. I was just trying to figure out the logic.
Is it like that in New Mexico too?
Everything, even like stores that are usually 24 hours are no longer 24 hours. I think everything, even late night stores, close at like 10, like Walgreens and stuff like that. I think certain convenience stores are allowed to stay open, as like in case people like really need Tylenol or vodka.
Otherwise they'd have to
wine.
You can't call yourself a convenience store and not be open on convenient hours.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Convenience store open 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thursdays and Sundays.
One thing that sucked in my personal life is I haven't gotten to meet my niece yet because of this. She was born the end
Oh,
of
man.
December,
Hmm.
and in January I was planning on coming at the end of February, and then things started to ramp up, and since she was a newborn, we didn't want to take any chances, so I stayed home.
That really sucks.
So-
So
Yeah.
she's 3 months now?
6 months.
6
She's
months.
6 months old.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
and my brother and his wife are going through a divorce now, which
Wow.
all of us. I'm not going to talk about it much because he might want to see this,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
so it
Not
just
the
it just
best time
sucks.
for it.
But I will say it is a good time to be a divorce attorney.
Yeah.
They are not short of business right now.
Oh, man.
Nobody
Everybody,
has
Killed a
a
lot of
place to
marriages,
just you have to, I mean, even in a marriage, like you have to have space
Mhm.
to,
Yeah.
and I think, I mean, that's not just for my brother's case. I mean, there's just so many people that I think
I think
COVID is directing the course.
People
of-
get sick of each other. It's
Yeah,
natural to
it's
get sick
normal.
of someone if they're around all the time.
Yeah.
Like you need it's really big to miss someone. Like
Yeah.
you're with your boyfriend or girlfriend, you go to work, you don't see them sometimes until the end of the night. And
Right.
it's like, remember that nice feeling of coming
Yeah.
home and like,
and then you have stuff to
I missed
talk
you.
about, because if you're
Yeah.
there with each other all day, you have nothing to talk about. It you were there.
Nothing.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
why it actually kind of worked out during this, especially since Dustin and I are doing like a hardcore quarantine while we
Yeah.
wait to see. I don't. None of our friends have had any symptoms, and nobody's gotten a positive test result back yet. So hopefully we're good. But anyway,
Mhm.
because my dad went to help my brother with everything that's going on in his life right now, Dustin's been going once a day to water their garden, and it's good because we would probably be fighting otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, and I think like light arguments or just being around each other too much is going to lead to that. I think that's normal.
Yeah.
You know, but in other cases, like I went through a breakup at the beginning of this quarantine, a broken engagement and all that stuff.
Oh,
But
wow.
I think what happens is when you're busy with work and whatever your hobbies are and all that, a lot of that is distractions, and a lot of that is, in a way, we bury our heads in the sand.
Yeah,
And then
that's true.
when all that goes away, and then you have no choice but to face what
All your
you've been trying to
feelings.
avoid.
Yeah.
And then also coupled with that, the idea of, hey, maybe this year might be my last year on Earth. Maybe
Right.
I should start focusing on things that make me happy.
Right.
I think a lot of people are all experiencing that
Yeah,
during this time. You know,
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even.
I can't wait to go to like a bar and just be stupid and act like an
Jimmy,
idiot.
you're sober. You're not allowed to can't be going to bars and acting stupid.
I always acted stupid.
I'm gonna need to start going to AA. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I miss going to AA and acting stupid. You can do both. Yeah.
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 It was nice there's this place called Zillicoa in Asheville. That's a brewery that's out. It's like an old giant hangar, and it's out by the railroad tracks. So they moved all their picnic benches that were inside just sparsely all around their property, and it happens to be next to a lake. So it's like you grab beer and you're just pretty much like chilling in nature and stuff. It's actually they're doing a good job of figuring out they're evolving with this whole issue.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is we have to just adapt and find ways. I heard in LA some gyms were being like sectioned off with like plastic barriers. So you basically have this like square space to work out in a clear cube.
Oh,
weird.
wow.
My God.
That is very strange.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Just
I don't know,
fight on
man.
my
There's
rage. I am working out in a cage.
some people I don't. What do you guys think about going to the gym? And I mean, like,
Just in
plenty of
general.
things you could. Right now, is it worth going to the gym when you could just run around the block or do
Dude,
some sit-ups at home?
Yeah, there's
like,
so much
do you have to go
technology.
out?
that you
to a
can
place.
use. Like I have a Wii Fit thing.
Me
I need
too.
to use it. Working there, I'm working up to that, but
You'll
but
get
yeah,
there.
like there's so many
Having
ways.
it
I
is
don't
step
think
one.
a gym is worth it. It's just they're germy anyway.
Yeah.
And then
It's
you add a
disgusting.
pandemic. It's like just do those workouts at home. You don't need the weights. Go pick up your like chair or something. I don't know.
There's a bunch of shit you can lift. Like
Yeah.
I have a bunch of cat litter. I have the 28 pound,
Yeah.
the giant cat litter one. So I just
Boom.
bought 2 of them. They do the trick. Obviously, you can see how jacked I am.
It's working. No, yeah, like I know a lot of the places that were mandating masks are like, oh, okay, you have to wear masks at restaurants, you have to wear masks at, public grocery stores. You don't have to wear a mask at a gym, and it's like that's the place that you should wear a mask most. You're like breathing and
you're breathing like heavily, like
everyone's mouth breathing over there.
It'll work up coughs. Like it's just.
Yeah, you cough so much.
There's
at
like
the gym,
a COVID puddle.
Yeah, I do, but that's because I smoke.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I don't know. Yeah, that's another like addiction. Like going to the gym is like. I mean, I go to the gym. Before this, I went like maybe twice a week, and you would see the same people there in the same spot, just fucking going as hard as you can imagine someone going, and they're there all the time. So imagine, I'm not I love how I put a disclaimer, not supporting this, but imagine not having that after having that every single day. It probably drove people to insanity and also hitting their wives.
Yeah, I was gonna say the domestic violence and child abuse, unfortunately, has skyrocketed.
Yeah, and that's one of the good arguments for getting the kids back into school.
Yeah, because that's a safe haven for way too many kids.
And that's how people are able to identify whether someone has been abused. Right now, there's kids staying at home,
and no one knows. Yeah,
right.
We actually, the house that we just moved into, it works out. My boyfriend's brother owns it, so. We're paying like the cost of mortgage, and that's great. But essentially the people that they had before us, they kind of weaseled in. Basically, they were related to the tenant that he did approve. And then she was like, I can't afford it anymore. These people are moving in. And they had 3 kids, and turned out that they were crackheads. And they were only here for 5 months. When they finally got them out, like I have a video of like the condition of this place, and it was bad. And honestly, like, I think those kids were like getting locked in a room for most of the day, because one of the bedrooms, the doorknob was removed, and there's like a bunch of like kids snacks spilled everywhere. There was piss, there was poop, there were dirty diapers, like piles of kids' clothes, toys. I found like we were just like scooping everything into trash bags, and like I found this little sailboat that was filled with pee, and like they had 3 kids under 5, and being in this quarantine with 2 parents that are doing hard drugs, like, dude, no escape.
This has got to be terrible.
Yeah,
like so many people, like so many kids, like that's their respite, is their 6 hours away from
that's where they eat
their home life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some people where they eat breakfast and where they eat lunch. I mean,
I don't know if New Mexico is doing it now since it's summertime, but I know when this first started to really affect everything, the schools were opening once a day for meals for kids to go.
Yeah, I heard they were doing that here. I don't know if Burger King's still doing it or not, but Burger King was also giving 2 free kids meals.
Yeah, kids were getting very, very sick, so they had to stop that.
So we had someone write in and said,
not worth it.
Ray Burrito wrote in and said, if we're on the fence about opening schools, why is Universal and water parks open? I think that's because Universal and water parks are private companies that we don't vote for whether or not they open or not. But when it comes to like something like school, and that's where our tax dollars are going to, and that's where we're involuntarily having to send our kids because we could get arrested if we don't send our kids to school. Right. That's where the issue lies.
That's like with my sister-in-law or whatever. She's at a private school, so that's the only reason they can reopen. Public schools are no go
So the private
Dude.
school is reopening.
so far, but now that the state is like shutting down again, I don't know if that's gonna change.
And and the thing is
I
with
haven't-
like the what's that, Jimmy?
I was just gonna say I haven't like talked to a lot of teachers that have like been down for this. Like
No.
most teachers do not want this. That might be a problem in itself. And
I know
like
Yeah.
I know ones that are having panic attacks because of the whole
Yeah.
thing, and are like questioning, they're like having to quit and having to find another
Right.
career because
Yeah.
it's like suddenly this thing is like, well, it's like not only might I get sick, but I might bring this home and involuntarily.
That's the thing too,
kill-
like because I had just started going back to school right before all this started, and I was planning on getting like a job at a summer camp because I was on an unemployment for a little bit before this happened. And then right when I would have been applying is when everything, laid in. Now in my state, there was like a pandemic unemployment issued. So, I've I've gotten that for a little bit, but I'm going to have to get a job soon. And it's just scary. Like, I don't want to work in retail and deal with a bunch of people that don't want to wear masks. I would like to go work at a daycare, but then I'm exposed. It's like, I have to expose myself to work. Unless I guess, well, maybe not, because maybe I could find something that's just online. That's what I should look for. But yeah, somebody's got to do those other jobs though, and
Right.
all of those
No,
people
like,
are exposing themselves.
the job market is clearly severely limited,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't force people to be like to have to go to jobs that are on the front lines right now,
Right.
and risk their lives for
Just-
for
Are
who?
they getting
For-
hazard? Are they getting hazard pay or no? Because
heard-
that's
I heard that Target was paying their employees slightly higher with hazard pay, but I don't know if it's. I think it's just company by company.
right. If they're all fucking heroes, then they should get paid like
Yeah.
heroes. You know how
Right.
much Robert Downey Jr. made?
Oh,
Yeah.
there he goes again.
Man down.
I was
Yeah,
Robert
making,
I mean-
Downey Jr.
With all these
What did I-
statues that they're tearing, all the statues they're tearing down, they need to prop up, like a statue of a cashier from Costco or something.
Right? Oh my
Yeah.
god! So I've been using Instacart. I feel like such a douchebag every time too.
I do it
but-
too. I felt
but especially like
Nothing wrong with
Costco,
that.
I'm not going to Costco and wait and so I tip them the best that I can afford, which is the default is 5%, which is ridiculous.
It's criminal.
Like, that's not fair. I've the lowest I've tipped was 10%, and I
Yeah.
didn't feel great about it, but I
Same
was
here.
also running low. But like even just the people doing Instacart, like they're exposing themselves all
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's just
Yeah, they're doing the dirty work. They're doing the thing
Yeah.
that I was too nervous to do
they're
myself.
doing what I'm too afraid to do.
Yeah.
all
And
day
so-
long.
And then they're doing it.
Yeah.
But that's what the anti-maskers are for. You send them out to do the dirty work because they don't believe the coronavirus exists.
Yeah,
And-
but they're not even working. They're just the ones arguing with
I
the
know.
workers about wearing a
know.
mask.
I
Ugh.
just
How about that? If you are against masks, then you are not allowed unemployment and you must go get a job
yes,
at a public facility.
There's a good one.
dude, that sounds fair.
I'm sure they would
mean-
agree.
I want to
Fuck.
know what the Disney employees all feel like right now, having to reopen.
Like for the basketball stuff? Or
Oh,
they
not just
opening
that,
Disney
the whole
World.
water, Disney
Disney
World
World.
is open.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
they nixed that.
No.
Oh no,
they-
it's
they-
open.
wow.
It's-
They open
Yeah.
like what,
Mickey
so-
Mouse is out
Yeah,
there.
the most magical place in the world.
Yeah. Buzz
Yeah.
Lightyear is vomiting blood. I'm doing my act now.
Yes. Yikes.
I mean, mice were responsible for the bubonic plague, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Oh
Transmitted.
shit. That took
Yeah.
my
And we got
brain
Mickey
didn't
Mouse
connect
running
for a
around with
second.
fucking viruses all attached to his
God.
tail. Just
And
shitting all over the
Mulan
place.
Yeah.
and Mulan is responsible
Wait.
for COVID.
I thought with the NBA being at Disney World, I thought they were not letting anyone in.
That's a whole different place.
well, I mean,
um,
obviously they're not. I guess that makes sense. They're obviously not like at Space Mountain or
They're
something.
playing
That
in
was
It's a
stupid.
Small World. after all. No, it's like it's
that's
in like their whole Disney
They're at Epcot.
yeah, dunking on
Yeah.
munchkins. Um, no, there's like a whole complex that's
Oh.
I don't. It's like in the whole Disney. Like they have like a whole Disney. What would you call it?
that randomly reminded me
Resort.
that I got some new coloring books. This one
Oh,
is Fuck Off
shit.
Coronavirus. It's just a
Awesome.
bunch of swear words.
Dude, they're on top of shit. Whoever
Yeah.
made that.
Yeah, just well, I guess now that I think anybody can sell things on Amazon, like publish wise, if you have
Oh
a book.
right.
So
Are you
because I also
guys-
got this like fucking adorable animals one, and it's just like cute animals saying raunchy things.
So it's all under your name?
What's that? Oh no, I didn't make that. I bought it.
I
I'm
thought
gonna
you-
color
all
it.
right, all right. I was like, oh damn, you made your own.
I might. I'm considering it because I have been drawing a lot, but yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I enjoy your artwork that you post.
It's been
You're
fun.
good at doing the card. You should do a Mickey Mouse spreading his bubonic
Shit.
coronavirus shit all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Is Disneyland open in California?
I have no
Anyone
idea. I
know?
doubt it because California's been. I think they recently just shut completely back down.
That's so weird that California is one of the more strict states when it came to the lockdown. But
Well,
then
and what's
they're-
weird is it's also you'd think there would be less contention with some of the rules, but apparently like Huntington Beach and like just some of the places where people I didn't realize there were so many like super conservatives out there. Apparently there are.
yeah.
I have a couple of friends that were out they were out walking like a boardwalk with boxes of free masks and they were just giving people free masks and they got in like altercations with people that were angry at them for being offered a mask because it was imposing upon their rights.
Jeez.
So dumb.
I feel so bad for these people.
And then meanwhile, these same people are going to tell
So
women that
impressed.
they can't walk in public without a shirt on.
Right. And that they can't breastfeed even though everything's covered and
Right.
yeah,
Well, that's
Yeah.
inappropriate.
whatever.
It's
Yeah,
it's so funny.
So dirty.
The group of
Ugh,
people
no.
that are so worried about their rights being infringed on is the group of people in the United States that likes to infringe on everyone else's rights.
On
around us.
everyone else's rights. God, it's
Mhm.
so true.
It's like gay people aren't allowed to be married. You know, it's like if it was up to them, segregation would still be a thing, and Jim Crow laws would still be a thing. You know,
But then they would be complaining. They don't even. They just. I get really upset because I just think these
Hypocrisy.
people don't have an inner conscience. Like there's no voice in their head.
they're under a spell.
They're just like they're not real. They're just-
It's like a cult. Like they
it's so weird.
they're trained or conditioned not to have any kind of thoughts other than it's uniform.
Right.
It definitely
Yeah.
is cultish.
What it is
And
that
then they keep breeding.
it's the
Ugh.
religious minded people. There's something about the way their brain chemistry is where they are able to not focus on the inconsistencies or the hypocrisies of what
Yeah.
their beliefs are, because for them that's the devil trying to convince them otherwise.
Right.
They've been conditioned to where anything that's tempting you to believe that whatever you're believing isn't true, that's to disregard that as the devil or whatever. And so
Yeah.
they have that frame of mind when it comes to religion, and then they apply it to politics and they apply it to whatever other nonsense opinion that they might have. And then
Yeah.
they stake their whole reputation and their whole existence on that opinion, like
Yeah.
dig their heels in the ground.
It's like
So-
people got into their 20s and didn't reflect at all.
They're like, they turned 18. We're like, I'm done growing. I'm an adult
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Time to stop thinking critically.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that they ever could in the first place, I guess. So,
Right.
Ooh, yeah,
ooh.
it's it's nuts, man. And the people that come out of the woodwork, like I'll make Facebook posts that seem like, all right, what I'm writing is you can't dispute this. This is just common like sense or whatever. And then people will argue against that,
God, yeah.
and it is in such like a childish way that they're so afraid of. I don't know what they're afraid of. What in their life experience would point to the fact that wearing a mask will then lead to
Communism.
communism or socialism or this government overreach? But
Yeah.
like
Or
it's that
voting
same-
by mail. like
Ah!
right.
yes, there are flaws to be tended to and to protect against. Absolutely. But we do everything on the internet now anyway. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? All
Yeah.
of your polls that you talk about so much as proof that anything, okay, like, well, that's not supportive because polls are shit, but they'll vote for that. I don't know. It's just.
No, it has to be by mail. It just has to be.
It's
There's not going to be.
Otherwise, you're
people-
infringing on the right to vote in the sense of you have to expose yourself to a potentially fatal disease to be able to vote.
Oh, you might be tapping into something.
Mm.
And this is why Donald Trump wants to make it seem like the coronavirus isn't a threat. So that way his dingbats will all go out and vote for him because they're not afraid
Well,
of it.
hopefully they do, and they all get it and fucking.
But they'll vote him in and they'll die. By that time, it's too late.
You can say, "I hope they die."
Yeah.
I hope they burn in hell.
I always hope that there's like some layer of someone in there that like all of a sudden they'll be like, oh fuck, I fucked up. Like, wake up. Ah.
Yeah,
They are.
And I
There
hold
are.
on to that when I stop myself and say that I don't want them all to die, but I'm also like,
You don't have to mean it. You just say
Yeah,
it
you
in
just
an
say
angry way, and it feels good.
and it feels so good.
There are a lot
does.
of Republicans and conservatives that are angry and upset and outraged and they have the like the energy of like the newly converted, you know,
Yeah.
like where they're like, I was lied this whole time throughout my life, what the fuck? And then they're almost more energized than the average person.
Right.
But then I think that the people who are still digging their heels in with Trump are the religious people that just for whatever reason they can't see past like abortion or whatever.
Right.
Like all lives matter only, except for only in an abortion clinic do all lives matter. Outside of that, like they don't care. All lives matter don't count. Like, yeah, you know what? It's worth risking grandma's life to go open up.
That also goes to like they're the same people that are like, don't abort your baby, but also we're not going to help you support that when you have that baby that you didn't want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, fuck that.
Yeah, it sucks. I had a thought. I forgot it. It'll come back.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
so,
is
like,
dead air, Melissa.
There's no, that's not the people that say that the coronavirus is no big deal because it only affects the elderly are the same people that will also say all lives matter.
Right.
And that's such a fucking hypocritical stance.
Right.
Like they just don't fucking see the hypocrisies. And my thing is like I am OCD when it comes to hypocrisy. If the liberals or the left are doing something that's hypocritical, I get angry about that too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like just because if a sports team that I was rooting for and the referee was blatantly calling like calls that weren't right, I wouldn't feel right about it.
Right.
But I guess I would just not say anything about it at that point. I don't know.
Well,
I
I remember because with the way that Trump has been like downplaying it all this time, I remember the last night that I was out at a bar and I was already starting to get freaked out because it was starting to trickle its way down from up on the northwest coast up there. And I'm a hypochondriac too. So like I was freaked out. And I was at a bar that I go to all the time and know everybody well. And they could tell that I was like, because I really wanted to go out, but I also was like conflicted the entire time I was there. So I probably should have just stayed home. But anyway, the bartender was asking me what was wrong. And I was saying, that I was just kind of worried. And the guy next to me, no offense to any Cowboys fans, but was wearing a Dallas Cowboy jersey. I told him what I was worried about and he scoffed at me. And then 3 days later, the state got shut down. And I was just like, okay. It's just crazy that like all the clips of Trump saying we have it under control. It's fine. It's not that like, you can't politicize a virus and you can't stop it by lying about it.
Yeah. And how are you going to be
nothing?
How are you going to be a cowboy
now, though?
How is a cowboy going to be against face coverings?
Right?
The whole reason they wear bandanas is to protect their lungs from dust, from sand. They were. It's like it's
Hey,
not
if we're
because
gonna
they're
talk
all.
about American roots.
They're not all train robbers. They wear the mask to protect themselves from all the dust swirling around.
Yeah, and tuberculosis.
And tuberculosis. Yeah, and whatever other historical flus and yellow fevers and whatever the hell is going on back in the day. Which it was, you know what? Walking around Savannah was trippy during a pandemic because Savannah was ravaged by the yellow fever back in like the late 1800s or so.
Mm-hmm.
And there's cemeteries and so much of the ghost tours are all about all the crazy deaths that happened back then. So it was interesting walking around in a town that still resembles what it used to look like architecturally, and then over 100 years later, it's dealing with similar shit. And
yeah,
yeah.
I thought it was pretty crazy when I saw like the mass graves that were being used in New York, and that totally freaked me out. But I did like talk to my mom about it, and while they were getting an increase, a very notable increase of needing to use those mass graves, apparently New York City has had those for pretty much unclaimed bodies for like decades. So
Wow.
that kind of made it a little less apocalyptic feeling, but also like it's crazy. Like it's these
Also,
giant. It's still horrifying.
Yeah,
and
like,
also that
we've
sucks.
we've been just mass burying people here.
We've been mass burying
whole
people
time.
for ages.
It's like, oh, well, maybe we should address that after we figure all this other shit out. We'll
Yeah.
circle back around to that and be like, why are you mass burying all these people? Yeah. I don't know, man. So besides the apocalypse, what's been happening, man? What else is going on in the news lately?
Do you mind
Jimmy?
if I pee? I have to pee real quick.
You have to do it
Hey.
in your chair in a bottle or
Right.
something.
Do you have
like,
a bottle? We'll have to do the pee challenge.
I actually do.
Yeah. Do you have an
Keep
infrared
going.
camera to measure the droplets length? All right,
Yes.
move on.
Yeah, call back.
Yeah, but no, I'll be back in like a minute.
We're
Okay.
gonna
But I
time
also
it.
want to
Alright,
see
we're
because
timing
hold
you.
on. Ramon has said in the past that it's we're better as a duo, so I want to see how Ramon does one-on-one with you. Okay, so no pressure, Ramon. Be right back.
All right, we are counting down to how long it takes and whether you're actually pooping.
Just make it a little more awkward if you could, please. Okay.
Yeah, he's leaving his phone behind, so it's if he is pooping, he's not gonna know what to do with himself. So
no, but I literally have been avoiding the news, so you'd have to inform me, quite honestly, at this point.
yeah, I don't watch the TV news, but I'll go on Twitter and see what's trending and see what the news is.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Kanye West just had like a
the rally. I did hear about that. Dustin loves Kanye, and we're having a weird situation
Hey,
about that because
there's
wow,
no
that
way,
was incredibly
there's
quick.
no
Actually,
way you peed.
yeah,
I didn't
I
pee.
think
I
you
just
faked
I
it.
vaped. I just vaped.
You,
Needed to vape. I don't like doing it on the thing because there could be
whistles?
kids watching. Yeah. I don't
Well,
want to.
that's the parents' fault because they shouldn't be on
kids.
Facebook.
but you're
Oh.
vaping. You're vaping CBD though, right?
No, it's nicotine.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, then you're a horrible person. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the whole
Uh,
Kanye thing and the rally. The first thing I have to say about that is there's no way that his wife is okay with the fact that he held this rally. There's just for the sake of the safety involved of spreading things. Like, I
was
don't
she
know.
there or was she not there?
I have no idea. I have
So-
no clue.
So he basically, it seemed like when he said he was going to run for president.
That
all
means
signs-
a Kardashian would be in the White House.
I was thinking about that. Wouldn't that be cool?
It would be less crazy, honestly, for what we have now.
Honestly, like I trust Kim Kardashian and Kanye West far more than I do Trump.
As long
Am
as
I gonna vote for them? No, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but
It'd
I
be
would
the
still
first-
prefer that.
It'd be the first lady where you can Google her sucking a giant black cock.
And it's
Wouldn't that be
true.
nuts?
you might be able to find out
Trending.
about Melania.
Well, that's also true.
She's
That's
done
true.
porn.
Oh shit!
Sometimes.
Someone's
Oh, Jimmy.
Oh,
Sorry, hold on.
Jimmy.
3-1. Who's 315?
3-1. What?
Oh, there's
So-
been so many student loan scams, by the way, recently.
Yeah, because you don't have to pay student loans right now. I got an
Yeah,
email.
so I've been getting like multiple calls a day, and some of them will leave a voicemail saying that my account needs urgent. But I know the company that I pay.
Yeah.
I know what I have. I pay $15 a month right now, so I know there's no. Well, because I have zero income, and that's
Right.
how I worked it out. That means I'm pretty much not even paying interest. I'm paying even less than that. But
right.
whatever. Temporary fixes. Yeah, those scams are skyrocketing.
But
Yeah, they're getting good.
When Kanye West announced that he was going to be president on the 4th of July, there was a lot of people who said that this might be one of like a manic episode that he's going through because he's been known to have bipolar and mania.
He's
in the
talked
past.
about
what
it
it
before
is.
years ago too, and it probably is.
And I don't know if you've seen clips of the rally that he did the other night, but he was sobbing at one point
Oh man.
about abortion, and he was
Yeah.
he was lying on Harriet Tubman.
He was what?
He was saying that Harriet Tubman did not free the slaves, and that she actually just handed them over to white people,
Whoa.
and then people that were watching were like, "All right." I mean, the video that shows him doing it, she's like, "All right, I'm leaving."
The thing is, I do believe that Kanye West does have a great heart. I do believe that about him, and
Survived
I
a car
think
crash.
he's probably a great guy. Does not need to run a country, especially the shit show that is our country.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be. But he does want to give $1 million to everyone that has a baby.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's
No.
part of
That's
his.
pretty
That was part of his rant.
Where's
I
the?
I would have a baby with anybody then, if I knew I was going to get $1 million.
But what is $1 million if everybody has $1 million?
Well,
I
no,
mean, everything just goes up.
Right.
Only people with a baby.
Oh, right.
That's not everybody.
Including the people like you who will go have a baby for the $1 million.
Yeah, there's
I mean,
definitely.
who wouldn't have a baby if they were given?
It would be like a reality show. Everyone's running out to try and get babies all at once.
Speaking of which this is related on both the Kanye West and the reality show. I don't know why, but because of all the time alone and at home, I did watch the Kardashians for the first time ever and watched the entire series. There's 17 seasons. Now I watched it passively, meaning I had it playing while I did other shit. But I did that like every day for multiple hours a day for however long that took, which was at least a month.
Oh my god.
Okay.
It's good, right?
Honestly, I have more respect for them than I did before I watched it. But also, you know, it's still garbage.
I have a
as far
question.
as
Are they hard work? Do they work as hard as they claim
I
that
don't
they
know.
do?
It's a reality show, and Kris Jenner is one of the main producers, so you know,
right.
she spins everything.
And
By the way, I do not like her. That's for
no,
fact. She's
you know who I
fucking
don't like is that Caitlyn Jenner. She is grade A twat.
It was awesome watching the foreshadowing of Bruce Jenner.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask.
Oh my god, it was so
is
good.
there a lot?
Those were my favorite parts. Absolutely, and no one knew. No one knew yet.
He was
But anyone
so
will
weird
watch it
looking
later.
as a dude too.
Sorry that I swerved the conversation into that. It's just,
No, this is
You had a confession
this
to
is
make.
what I want to be talking about.
it like
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
he was a
that-
freaky looking man. He was a creepy
She was.
looking dude. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Apologize. That was not woke.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They all seem like they're nuts. I feel like whoever edits that show is probably a psychologist of some kind. They
They have no
figured out,
soul. There's no way.
Well, they figured out a way to
Okay.
edit a show in a way that captures people's attention and makes them
Right.
want to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
For hours.
One of my favorite, and by favorite I mean the most fucking noxious thing about watching that show was you see all these clips like multiple times throughout the same episode because it's coming up next on, and then it shows a thing, and then it shows it again before it gets to the clip, and then it shows the clip, and then it shows previously on. So you watch the same thing happen like 4 times.
So many times.
It's like an
That's
anime
how I was in
cartoon.
Jersey Shore. Yeah.
It's
I
like
think
Dragon
I was
Ball Z.
punishing myself, quite honestly. I think it was some kind of sick.
No,
but I also
know.
like developed a weird respect for some of the women that I never thought I like. I have
Like who?
Like Courtney is a total bitch, but she's also like fairly smart. And Chloe, at least at the beginning, like she was pretty cool. Like she's someone I would have wanted to hang out with, and I never in a million years would have thought that could be the case. And Kendall, I really, at least from the show's perspective, of course, they want to look their best, but she seems like the only one in that family that truly kind of has a weird sense of being in touch with the fact that like she's very aware that people don't live like she does, and is a lot more compassionate than the rest.
That's important if you want to have like a good base of reality, because otherwise you're just on a whole nother planet.
Yeah. I'm sorry that it even went this long.
That's okay. No. This is interesting. Imagine if you had a film crew following you around for like weeks on end.
Pretty much your whole.
And then they had thousands of hours of footage to distill down to a half-hour episode.
Right.
You could basically make any narrative you want and make yourself
absolutely.
look however you want. So you can make yourself look like a smart, intelligent, compassionate person if that's what you want out there.
Honestly, I think Kris Jenner is just a full-blown narcissist, and the Empire is what it is because of that fact. And I have a feeling from my own observations of the show that is probably loosely edited by her because she gets a say in everything, but it just seems like she doesn't know how to exist unless it is for some kind of show.
That's scary.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Trump is, honestly.
Yeah. No, that's the case with a lot of like people. Like they're nothing without what they're obsessed with.
Yeah.
Melissa, did
Alex
Trebek?
He's one of those guys that like he wants to host Jeopardy until the day he dies, which sucks because he's not going to be able to now.
Probably
because they shut down live taping. I'm so happy that my cell phone didn't fall there.
I tried to watch some Jeopardy at my parents' house like a few months ago when I was there, and my mom was like, "Ugh, I can't watch that. I hate Alex Trebek." And I was like, "Why?" She was like, "He just acts like he knows everything." And I was like, "Well, he has the answers in front of him." Yes,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, he's acting like that because he knows the answer. Yes,
because it's on a card.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's written
he is
down.
kind of he does get kind of pompous, but that's my favorite part about him. I think it's hilarious.
He is, yeah. It's the best because it's very, very like slight when he gets pompous, and it's very like.
And how can you hate a guy who's working through having pancreatic cancer?
Oh, if my mom decides she doesn't like someone, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, you can't change that. My mom.
And it's often someone she used to like. She used to watch Imus in the morning. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Don Imus, the guy who went racist.
I don't even know his first. So he's so far right, and my mom's not. But I remember her watching that when I was a kid, and now like I looked it up as an adult and like looked up who he is, and she doesn't watch him anymore. Thank goodness. But that guy's a fucking nut.
Don Imus?
Didn't he have like a racist thing?
I fucking love Don Imus. I thought he has a lot of liberal ideas. Like
I thought
not anymore. No,
didn't he call basketball players?
He's dead now, isn't he?
No.
I have to look it up because
I don't know.
I might be confusing it with something, but didn't he call like the WNBA?
No, he called the Rutgers female basketball team
nappy-headed hoes.
They're a bunch of nappy-headed hoes. Yeah,
right. That's what he said, and then you said that he wasn't racist.
Yes,
or sexist. That seems like all of the above. That seems.
Ramon, are you allowed to make a joke? He was making a joke. If like anyone knows Don Imus, you know he's not racist. He's not a racist dude.
I don't know.
So he was making a joke.
I don't know him personally. Do you?
I said something very
Well,
racist.
I know the Kardashians now that I've seen all of their series.
I have to finish
so-
that sentence though, because I have to finish the sentence. I
Sorry.
said something very racist as a joke at the open mic, I think, but I didn't mean it. Or I
Right, but you're a
haven't.
comedian.
Right, and Don Imus puts on a show where he entertains people, and also, oops,
Oh, he
Can't say
did
that.
die. He died
Yeah.
not that far.
He died from
not that.
being racist, apparently.
Yeah, it
This is right
was
here on his
that.
Wikipedia
so you
page.
think he's racist because he made a joke, off the cuff joke, that
I don't.
he
Okay, let's say. All right, he said a
This
sexist
is
and racist.
unbelievable.
He said a
Sick of
sexist and
this.
racist thing.
Oh shit.
He might not be
Yes,
racist.
he made a joke. It was clearly a joke. He didn't
All right,
say it with.
you're a big fan of Dom Imus.
No, but I don't
want
yeah,
to dispel your
as a
your-
comedian. As a comedian, you should know that when he said they're a bunch of they look like some nappy headed hoes. He wasn't like saying, "Wow, those women have very
Well,
nappy
okay,
hair."
then what's
and
the
they,
context
And they
of the
probably
joke?
fuck a lot of.
What's the context of the joke that would make
Well,
it
The context
funny?
of the joke is they're not good looking gals.
Okay, that's
Objectively.
problematic.
Have you seen the girls? Anyway,
Ah,
yeah. So
don't
it was
know.
a joke. It was an off the cuff joke, and if it was distasteful, he probably shouldn't have made it. But
This,
it's a joke, and
this
it was a bad joke. Yes, please read.
Oops. Well, I was gonna. Well, first of all, he ran a. Oh, where'd he go? He ran a ranch in New Mexico for dying children. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good shit.
But this headline says DJ Imus made and betrayed by his mouth, dead at 79. I don't know. I just remember
Yeah.
looking him up later in life and reading a bunch of like super far right Republican things, and it confused me. I was just like, what? I don't understand.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
That doesn't make him a bad guy. I just was surprised.
I don't know why I'm so. I think
You are like all.
I'm
like,
passionate about
defensive.
Don Imus.
yeah.
Well,
like yours.
I was obsessed with radio when I was younger, and I would listen to Don Imus, and then I would listen to YouTube clips of Don Imus, and so I got very attached to him.
Yeah, but like we of all at one point or even now have appreciated Louis C.K.'s humor, but could also acknowledge the negatives and not have to
Yeah.
act as though they didn't happen or they're not something that's bad.
Well, the problem, well, obviously the problem with Louis C.K. and what happened is that it's terrible and he shouldn't have done those things. But also, a lot of his comedy is funny because you're like, oh, he wouldn't really do this though. And then and now
Right.
you can't watch him and not have this voice in your head like he's not joking.
He would do that. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah,
Like-
it's in your head always with Louis. Like, wow, that's fucked up. But yeah, it's no way that's.
And it's like
That's
the exact
true. His
opposite.
innocence. He lost a lot of innocence, obviously.
And it's
Yeah.
like the exact opposite for Bill Cosby, where when you listen to his comedy, you're like, oh yeah, Bill Cosby would do that. And then like all the positive things, and well, he would do
Right.
the positive things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know you're a big shock jock guy. Did you also watch what about
I'm laughing at other stuff that Don Imus has said.
oh no.
It's
What else did
terrible.
he
This
say?
doesn't
read-
look good for him.
Well, you better read it out loud because
No.
you're his
Well,
to his
in
defense there.
June 2008, Imus was in trouble once again for making racially charged remarks. During a conversation about NFL player Adam Pac-Man Jones, Imus asked, "What color is he?" When the co-host responded that Jones is African American, Imus responded, "Well, there you go. Now we know."
Oh,
I don't-
ow, shakes.
Why he's fast?
yeah. That's a year after the nappy-headed hose.
There's
rant.
nothing wrong with it. He's a shock jock and he's entertained. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
There is
Be-
nothing
like-
legally wrong with saying that you're
Nothing
right. 'Cause we
legally.
we have
Okay,
freedom
yeah.
of speech in the United States. And as a radio broadcaster and a comedian, you should be allowed to say whatever you want. But people are going to
I know the way they decided.
the way that capitalism works is that you're going to lose listeners or viewers.
Well, because imagine in the entertainment industry, if he said, blah, blah, blah was good with money. Oh, were they a Jew? That makes sense. Or,
Yeah,
it's
Chris
the same thing. And that wouldn't go
And
well in the entertainment industry. Well,
right. As a joke, though, if someone said, "Oh, he's a Jew," like I've heard that on podcasts. If you
for
listen
sure.
to Theo Vaughn, or if you listen to your mom's house podcast, you hear some fucking vicious like shit, but it's everybody knows they're joking. Like if you go through Theo Vaughn, he'll say some crazy shit.
But he also won't say that off stage, and I've never. He's not like that off stage.
But my point is, Imus is and Imus got in trouble because he was in a situation where if he said something off color, they could take sponsors away from him. If Don Imus had his podcast, he would have, like, in this day and age, if he lived in this day and age, and Don Imus had a podcast instead of a radio show where people were paying, he could say all that shit. It wouldn't
I could just picture him just like bashing podcasts on his own podcast. Like the idea of podcasting. Like I feel like he would. Yeah,
but it wouldn't make any news, and he wouldn't get in trouble for it. The only reason he got in trouble and attention is because he lost sponsors. But
the problem is that, as we see with Trump being in office, Trump makes jokes.
Yeah.
He says things that are clearly jokes, but he has a platform that reaches a large amount of people that don't understand the nuances of a joke and take things as their word.
When does he make jokes? I don't think at any time.
Well, they're not funny.
No, they're not jokes. Like he says some stuff that's stupid, but it's never a joke.
Well, he tries to, like, for example, I remember he said something about the face mask thing, and he was like, I miss my face. I do. But like he makes little stupid, like he thinks he's funny.
He thinks he's funny. He says these things, but then people take him as his word. Yeah.
No, the stuff that's dangerous is the stuff that he's saying that's not a joke. So that's
for example, I don't think it was a joke either, but like the whole thing about bleach, like.
Yeah, he said it was a joke.
Fucking morons that.
If you don't know it's a joke, then they're bad jokes.
And
well,
the bottom line is,
the thing,
he's a president, not a fucking comedian.
Exactly.
And even if he were a comedian, he would not be a good one. So, like, it's
just because you're a shock jock doesn't mean you're a comedian either.
Yeah.
I mean, you laugh at stupid people sometimes. And most people, that's a relationship. If you do laugh at Trump, you're laughing at how unbelievably stupid or naive he is.
It's painful.
Or how much he's pandering. You laugh at him. You're never like laughing.
What makes me really scared, or at least, like I said, I haven't been watching the news because I was getting it was too much for me. But before I stopped, just even the way that like certain officials, for lack of a better term, are tiptoeing around, walking on eggshells, because they're trying to keep the public safe without setting him off in a direction that's going to make things worse. Like you've seen it with what's his name, Anthony, what's that guy's name? Fauci. Like, he almost was fired, and you could see and hear it in what he was saying. He was trying to walk that really weird, tight wire where he's trying to get facts to you and keep you safe and be just straight up about what's happening, versus the president can just say, you're done because I'm the president and you're fired. Like, that's terrifying, because it's like we're dealing with someone that needs to be placated to keep a job of people that maybe do know what they're doing. Now, I'm not taking a stance there because I don't have the facts, but hopefully my point is
I hear what you're saying, is that he wants to basically have the echo chamber around him, or the yes men. He wants to be surrounded by yes men. He doesn't want anyone to disagree with him. He wants to walk around the world with his own reality around him and nothing interfering with that. And he just got rid of they got rid of the CDC, or as far as giving suggestions to health, or they're not listening to the CDC anymore or something.
they acknowledge it, but they say that it's not vital that you follow
And they're
every
saying the same
single.
thing of the
Yeah.
World Health Organization, I think, too.
Yeah, you don't have to follow everything. That's what DeSantis is constantly saying, is that yes, there are guidelines, they want you to follow them, but it's impossible. They'll say something like it's impossible to adhere to them all the time, like horseshit like that.
Yes.
Honestly,
so
I
stupid.
kind of want to disappear and live off the land at this point.
Me too.
Yeah, man, going to North Carolina and just thinking about getting a cabin, just living
Yeah.
in the mountains or something.
Seeing,
You know, it just
Yeah.
and it's,
Yeah.
you would think like North Carolina. I mean, Asheville is obviously progressive, but even the outskirts of North Carolina that we went through, it's like everyone just was very respectful. People wearing masks. You
yeah.
know, no one's causing trouble. Like everyone's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the Twitter, like what you see on Twitter, when you see online, that vitriol, that the disagreements and all that. That's what's going down here in Florida all the time. That's just seems like that's like Florida is Twitter or vice versa or something.
Dude, Canada doesn't look bad. I wouldn't mind Canada. I could live in Montreal. I just need to learn some French. But I don't know. Like I don't want to. I hate this country. I don't
Yeah,
want to
I've
be
gotten
here at
to a
all.
place where like, so I am an American citizen, but I was born off base in Germany when my dad was stationed there the first time. And I have like, I don't know that it's a German birth certificate. It basically, it has no legal bearing, but it like would probably give me at least a notch above like someone that wasn't born there. Like to try to get citizenship, and there's been many times when I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have left. Maybe I should try
That'd be
back.
cool.
Like
Like,
Germany's pretty chill now. I mean, obviously the history is not great, but that was kind of a similar situation we are with Trump, except much worse.
Yeah.
yeah, the difference is in Germany they're not pretending like the past didn't happen. They're acknowledging
Right.
it.
And
You know?
you will get
Yeah.
fined if you put a swastika on a bus stop, or
Oh yeah.
like it starts at 500 euros and
Wow.
goes up from there. Yeah.
What would
And
I wonder what you would have to do, because I know as somebody like who wasn't born in Germany to get citizenship, I think you have to learn the language and you have to learn
yeah,
like so
I don't
much.
know the exact process, but I know it's harder than it is in America. You have to learn the language, you have to pass a couple different tests, and you also have to be working at a job in a position that you've been deemed like needed for, that no
Right.
German citizen could otherwise fill. So you have to, or if you're studying, I think, and there's also I think exceptions for things like doctors and stuff like that. But yeah, it's strict, but also like German citizens are pretty well taken care of. You know, university and higher education is free except for books, and healthcare. If you need to go to the doctor, you go to the doctor. You might. I don't know if you pay. I think there's like small costs involved, but they're like affordable, like in the 2-digit range of
Wow.
prices of things.
Have you been to Germany since you were born? Have you been back there at any point?
Yes. Well, I was there my first like 2.5 years of life, but then we went back when I was 9, and I was there till I graduated high school.
Oh wow.
So yeah, but I lived on base, but we were there a long time. I had German friends. I spent time off base.
So you speak German?
I do, not as fluently as I should and used to, because I don't use it anymore. But it's like if I hear certain things, like I can recognize it in the same, like in a much like deeper rooted part of my brain than like other languages, I guess.
Is the folklore true about school children being able to drink beer?
Depends what you define as school children.
Well, like
but,
I heard things about like like if you're in high school
absolutely.
or middle school, you could have beer
16.
in the cafeteria. Or
No, I've
serve,
never
like,
heard of that.
Table beer or something like that they would
That
call
I've
it.
never heard of. But you can get beer at McDonald's.
Really? Is it good beer?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't recall. I
That's
think it was all,
nice.
I mean, it's nothing on tap. It's all like, but I mean, it's
bottles.
beer in Germany, and German beer is good
Great.
if you like beer.
Yeah, I love German.
Yeah, I
beer.
started going to bars when I was like 14. Basically, as long as you behaved yourself, they're a little bit more strict now than when I was growing up. But as long as you can behave yourself and you're not obviously underage. So it just depends who you're there with and what
That
you're
must be
doing.
so trippy to walk into a bar and see a bunch of 14-year-olds just getting hammered.
Well, 14 was, I was pushing it. My friends were a little bit older, and yeah, that had partial to do with it. But and then 18 is like, oh, and if you're under 18, so 16 to 18, you have to leave. I think it's like 10 p.m. And then after 18, you can. It's like the same as 21.
I feel like that would be troublesome in the United States because I feel like a bunch of creeps would prey on the teenagers.
You're probably right. But see, in Germany, like for like, I don't know about that, but like as far as like DUIs go, the numbers are like percentages are way less than here, and that's because you're dealing with, you can't drive it. Like to get your driver's license, it costs like thousands of dollars, well, euros. It takes a really long time. You have to do a certain number of hours in every weather condition. So we're talking a minimum of a year. And it's just like, it's an expensive process. So you get acclimated to like being able to tolerate alcohol before you're adding the responsibility of driving. And also the road laws are a lot like, yes, the Autobahn does have areas where you can go over the speed suggestion and not be breaking the law. But if you do break the law on the Autobahn, it is a huge fine. I don't know all the numbers off, but it's people take driving much more seriously, and because of that, fewer people die, especially from DUIs.
I might be wrong, but I heard that basically it's like a one and done type of infraction.
Yeah,
over there.
I remember in my senior year of high school, my teacher was telling me a story about a friend who they had a like Christmas party one night, and then about 5:30 in the morning, their 3-year-old was sick, and the dad went to the store to get some medication, and he was sober, or like he wasn't drunk, but he had been drinking the night before, and it was still kind of in his bloodstream, and he was hit by someone. The accident was completely the other person's fault. Even on paper, like legally, it was the other person's fault. But because of the small amount of alcohol in his system, he was held accountable.
Wow.
So they don't fuck around with that.
And then meanwhile, you see videos of Oktoberfest over there, and people are going hard, man. How are they driving home?
Yeah, like it's not illegal to like pee outside and stuff like that.
Hey,
like
that's a good incentive.
They might ask you. There might be police that might like say, "Hey, there's like a bathroom right there," but
you don't get beat for.
But also, public transportation is a lot more accessible. There's a lot of trains and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, and they run on.
And they
time
run all night. What's that?
And they run on time over there.
Yeah.
Are you able to drink out just walking around town kind of scenario too? So you just pee everywhere, drink everywhere.
Well, okay, the pee thing, that might be like a festival thing. I just know I saw a lot of people peeing on the outskirts of the festivals and no one getting in trouble. So I don't want to like spin off some like false information.
You don't want someone to go.
And also, it's not like Germany's just covered with piss everywhere. I mean, there are like, I don't know. I feel like people are slightly more civil, and yes, they might go crazy at Oktoberfest, but they're at Oktoberfest. It's like expected.
Right.
Don't go there as a child, though. I went when I was 10. And it was terrifying.
Was it?
Oh man, that would be terrifying.
I was horrified. My parents took me and my brother. Like we were.
What was scary about it?
All the drunk people. I was 10.
Oh.
And I
so
remember,
they were rowdy then.
And yeah, like I remember, and my dad took pictures too because he thought it was funny. But we were, a lot of German like festivals and stuff, like where you're gonna get food or whatever. It's a lot of like community tables, like, and even in restaurants, sometimes people are just not as weird about sharing space with strangers. So we're eating lunch, and there's people all around us, and there's this man that was drunk. He wasn't being creepy, he was just drunk, and he had these like goggles on that have the
Oh, the
eyes coming
springy
out of
eyes?
them.
The
And he
spring
just
eye?
started like talking to me. He was just like, "Oh, you're American. Oh," and blah 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 blah. And my dad took a picture of it. I don't really remember what he said, but
He's
the
like,
part
oh,
that
he was looking at you with googly eyes.
yeah, he probably was just trying to make me laugh because he had googly eyes and I was 10. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what they're doing, because I know the community bench seating is popular in Germany, because that's where a lot of the local German restaurants are like that.
Mhm.
But with the coronavirus, I mean, how are they having to
Yeah.
like adapt to that? You know?
I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. And actually, I should reach
Nope.
out to. I still have a couple of friends that are German, so they're still there, and I should ask. What's
You like
going
German
on.
food?
I love German food. I miss
What's-
it. My mom makes really good Rahm Schnitzel, which was my favorite thing.
What's that?
So it's like Schnitzel is like it's usually pork, sometimes veal, but I don't eat veal because baby cows, and it makes me sad because
Yeah.
it's all in my head. But anyway, it's like a cutlet that's usually breaded, and like Rahm Schnitzel is the Rahm part of that word is referring to a cream sauce. So it's like a gravy, but it's like a cream. I don't know.
It's like a
I'm not
mushroom
Ooh.
gravy or something.
That's Jaeger Schnitzel. That's
Oh.
Jaeger sauce is
Jaeger.
more that way. Which actually I think that is in reference to like Hunter or something. That's why it's Jägermeister.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Really?
it's basically a lot of meat, potatoes. They have Spätzle, which is like it's like a type of egg noodle, but it's really common.
I like that. I've learned how to make it fairly well, but that red cabbage side,
Yeah,
you know, it's like the briny red cabbage kind
I'll
of thing.
even eat that on like hot dogs now. Like I still buy it at the store because I like it. It's like the only cabbage because I'm not a big sauerkraut fan, but the red cabbage is good. I don't mind. I like it more. I more than I used to. When I was a kid, I definitely didn't like it. I was actually just talking about it last night. My one of the food things that I missed the most was when you ordered French fries, you almost always would get this tiny little like French fry fork, and it was like just this cute little. Usually, like there are different ones, but usually like a wooden thing with like two little spokes, and that way you could dip your shit without getting your fingers all dirty.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's
just the
COVID
small
approved.
things. Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's perfect for now.
Yeah, I think German sauerkraut's like a little bit less harsh. Don't they add like somehow it's creamier or something like that, as opposed to like Polish, which is just like straight up just.
I think it just depends what you're getting it with. Like if you're getting it with like a wurst of some sort, it's probably going to be more like the Polish.
What's your favorite worst?
Just regular bratwurst, but I have only found like one in America that was because in Germany, like the bratwurst is the meat in it is like very finely ground, whereas here it's like kind of more sausagey than than it is there. And also the bread in Germany is so much better. I haven't found anything like brochen is just a word for bread, but usually a bratwurst I would get on brochen, and it's like hard on the outside but soft inside. I don't know.
It's like a pretzel bun kind of, or is it, or no?
No, not really. I guess the closest like the outside is similar to like a baguette,
Okay,
but it's shaped, usually they're round instead of like long. I don't know.
that sounds good,
better.
man. My girlfriend's going to Germany in October.
Nice.
Yeah, and she bakes bread. I've been baking bread this year, and like I was telling her, it's like you got to go to the German bakery and check that out and see what it's like. You know.
I miss German food like all the time.
You have any good German places in New Mexico?
No, definitely not.
Are there any, since you're closer to Mexico than we are there any German Mexican restaurants? Because I know that there was a Germans were in Mexico settlement, and that's why Mexico makes lager, basically German lagers as their beer. They learned from the Germans. I wonder.
I haven't seen any of that. There is a community of like German speaking people here. I don't know how many are natives, and a lot of that has to do with the university more than anything.
Oh yeah.
There might be a German restaurant. If there is, I don't know about it.
Do you ever eavesdrop on their conversations when they're?
I have, but usually if I hear someone else speaking German or if I hear someone speaking English with an accent that I recognize, is German, I'll usually say something. So that happened at Lowe's recently, actually, or Home Depot. Where I was getting
Yeah.
my paint,
Did you
and
freak
the
him out?
guy's accent, I could just tell that he was speaking English with a German accent, and so I just started speaking German, and he was confused at first, and then he was like, the problem with when I speak though is because I was so young when I started learning the language, I do speak very naturally, but my knowledge at this point is pretty limited. So he started answering back, and I only understood about 70% of what he was saying, and I lost confidence, and it kind of went down from
Left.
there. But, yeah.
He was thinking, you fraud.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Man.
So,
Yeah, one of these days I'd like to go. I've never been to Europe or anything like that, but if I were to go to
It's-
Europe, I would definitely want to go to Germany. I find it.
it's beautiful
Fascinating.
too. Like, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
so pretty. And there are castles like everywhere. Like, I remember when I was an older teenager a couple of times going to a castle with my friends just to like drink and hang out.
You could drink at a castle?
No, we weren't like supposed to be there.
You
but
broke
this is
into a
one of-
castle and got
we didn't
drunk?
go in it, but we could have technically, because it's not like
Dude.
they're locked. I mean, it's just they're ruins. So a lot of them don't even really resemble much of a building anymore. Although some do. It
Okay.
just depends
I'm
how
picturing
well
those
it's
like
preserved.
big picturesque ones that are like
Yeah,
on a
so like
cliff
picture
edge.
that, and then pretend it was buffering and it stopped at 25%.
Oh, okay.
So, except it was reversed because it was destroyed and stuff.
What part of Germany were you
I was
at?
in, if you could call it a state, I was in Rhineland-Pfalz, which is about 2 hours from the border of France. It's about an hour and a half southwest of Frankfurt. So like, I don't know if Germany is like, this would be backwards for you guys, but it's like over here. Like Munich and stuff's like down here. And we're
Yeah.
like over here. Berlin's like over here.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the camera, but yeah.
Yeah. The so like the northeastern area?
Oh,
Or am I
I wouldn't say north, but more in the
Central
east
Eastern?
for sure. Like, yeah,
Okay.
somewhere around there. Kind of where there's like a dip before it goes kind of down.
Wow.
I
lot
was near Kaiserslautern, like if you wanted to look it up on a map. That's the closest like bigger-ish city.
They're nice national parks and stuff out there and all that. Sorry for all the Germany questions. I'm just fascinated.
I don't know. No, I miss it. I like talking about it. But as far as like national parks go, I would consider that like the places like the castles and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. And there's like what is it, that the Black Sea or what sea is it above Germany?
I should know, and I don't off the top of my head.
The Brine Sea. I'm gonna look it up.
Geography is
That's
not my strongest.
well, let's see. I'm still looking at Don Imus stuff. I don't know what's wrong with me.
You are obsessed with Don Imus.
I think I have a picture that I recently like screen grabbed because I was telling the story. I guess I'll tell this story now. Basically, the first time I got drunk, I was 14. I was by myself. My parents were home and just sleeping, and I went into their liquor cabinet. Had no concept of alcohol. I'm trying to find this picture. And I basically like finished a bottle of Jägermeister. First of all, disgusting. It was, a bottle is about, let's say it's that size, and there was about that much. And I had no concept of like that being too much. So I like guzzle that down. And then I remember I started getting hot and sweaty. So I was like, we had a balcony in our apartment. So I went, and it was like tile floors. So I was like, I'm gonna go lay outside and like cool off. And then I remember starting to feel sick, and so I went in the living room and I laid down on the couch, and I was looking up, and the fan is spinning. So then I started like getting the spins. Anyway, I got super sick, threw up so hard I shit my pants. It was awful. My mom found me, and I got yelled at. And then the next day, my dad comes into my room, throws a bottle of Motrin at me, and he's like, "You have 30 minutes. Get up. We're going for a hike."
Oh no!
And we go through. God, I can't find this picture. We basically go through like like the hills of Germany in like forest and stuff. And that was like my punishment, which it was punishment because I was very hungover.
Oh man, that must
It's
have
funny
been
that
worst.
that's a punishment, but what he should have been saying is, this is what vacation feels like. You get drunk, get hungover, and then you go for a hike.
And then you have to go hike.
Yeah.
I can't find the picture. I'll find it. as
Okay,
soon as
so
this is done, but
Reagan,
yeah.
you say Regensburg? Is that what you said?
What? No. Well, I
Oh.
was at Ramstein, but
Ramstein. Oh, I should have known
could-
that's the band.
but with one N. But you could, if you
Wow,
Google
okay.
Kaiserslautern, that's like a city that's close to where I lived.
Yeah, everything's in German. Yeah, the Baltic Sea. That's what we got up there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. There you go. I
Yeah.
never would have.
Can't believe I spelled that right.
Oh, I want to show this picture. So
Wow, it's pretty.
it's so
Look at
green,
that.
and it's interesting. When I graduated high school and I moved to the States to go to college, I ended up moving
Oh,
to
there's a
Kentucky.
castle. Sorry.
Oh, see, I wonder if I can find like a picture of the castle that we like hung out at. as
What's up,
teenagers.
castle?
Yeah,
Uh,
and this
Oh.
one.
this looks exciting.
The one that I was most familiar with was outside of Launchstool.
I know the Walt Disney castle is
The
based off of one.
Neuschwanstein.
Is that what it is?
I believe that's the one. That is. Oh, is this?
And I like all those the ones that look like they're just part of a cliff. It's like, who the hell built that, man?
Yeah. So this one, oh yeah, it's Bergnenstein. So
Birdman?
this one, a lot of people had. I'm gonna send a link. Isn't there like a chat on this thing?
I think so.
How does
Yeah.
Zoom work?
You just go to.
So
Oh,
this castle,
Epic.
like a lot of people did like their prom pictures here and stuff.
wow. Holy shit.
You can see that?
Yeah, I wish there was a. I did it on my phone. Hold on.
I guess I
Hold
could
on.
like
I'm
screen
trying.
share.
I'm trying to figure. Yeah, are you able to screen? I'm trying to figure out the settings here.
Oh,
How about
yeah, you
now?
have it disabled.
Dude, that's
Huh.
nuts though.
You're a galaxy. How did you do that?
I want to just
this-
climb into that giant hole.
I'm trying to figure out how to.
So I'm clicking share screen, but it says host disabled
Host. Oh,
participant.
Well,
hold
our
on, hold on,
host
hold on.
is.
I didn't just. Let me try and
let's see.
undisable. Let's see.
Let's see.
What would happen if I made you host? You just take over everything and then
I
kick
have
me out of
no
my own
idea.
podcast?
This is maybe my third time on Zoom.
Okay, here.
And one of them was with us.
You're
Yeah.
host. You're the host now.
Oh, okay.
Time
let's
to
see.
interview
Look at
Screen
me.
share. Here we go. Screen sharing.
I'm the
Okay.
host now.
This is just stuff from TripAdvisor. These aren't my own personal pictures. Is it sharing my screen?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this.
Just don't show your search history.
And we also went like on a school field trip there. That's like the look from up on the
Wow.
castle. Yeah,
It's
like I
nothing
remember,
looking-
and they have a little restaurant somewhere like down here, I think.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Mm.
Is it all
really
like
good
lit up?
hiking.
Have you been to one at night?
No, because like the trouble you could get in increases
Oh.
at night, so I never did that. We weren't even supposed to be there the way that we were because I was not old enough to be walking around with beer. I think I was 15 at that point. But like it's the same thing as like kids like I don't know going behind a building to smoke a cigarette kind of situation, I guess. But yeah, I miss Germany
Man.
for sure.
So you haven't been since high school, huh? Graduating?
My first Christmas break in college, my parents were still there. So I went then, and that was the last time. That was 2009.
Do they live over there?
So, no, my dad retired, and they had to come back to the States. They would have stayed if they could have.
Do you get
So-
like base or military privileges where you could fly over there on like an aircraft
Not anymore,
carrier,
but
or
my
what are they
parents
called?
do. I don't anymore. Once I turned 26, I lost all
Mm.
like rights of that sort. So, yeah.
So you can't shop at MEPS or whatever it's called anymore.
Commissary?
A commissary, that's right. So
No, but my mom, I can go with my mom sometimes. Actually, right now I can't though because of COVID. No one is allowed on base without an ID. a military ID, whereas before you could be accompanied with someone. I don't know how to stop share. Hold on. How do I? This was bad. Oh, stop share. Here we go. Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay. Sweet. I've been using Zoom, or we've been using Zoom now for the whole quarantine. And I still don't know how to use any of the cool bells and whistles.
I just like all the stories of people in like serious business meetings that accidentally turn themselves into a potato and don't even realize it. And I watched this video where this whole class of students that were, I don't know, probably like sixth grade or something. They did one of the dance trends that's been going on TikTok, but basically they all in sync started playing the song, and then they all at one, like they premeditated this. They were like, at this time, we're all gonna like just stand up and do this dance. And the teacher just like freaks out at first because she's like, who's got that music? Turn off that music. Whoa, what are you doing? Are you guys dancing? What? Just what an interesting like middle school experience to have, I guess.
I miss middle school.
I do not.
No. Middle school was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I just remember always being wet and sweaty.
Weird.
It was a nightmare.
Weird.
Yeah, I was just
How's it
thinking.
weird?
It's a weird memory.
Well, I was just thinking the same thing.
My ass used to get so swampy that I would have to check to see if I shit my pants or not.
Jeez.
Like, yeah.
As far as bathroom stuff goes, I just remember I couldn't go to the bathroom if there was anyone else. Like, I couldn't pee if there was anyone else there, and that lasted till into my early 20s till I finally.
I still have a shy bladder,
bladder
sometimes. I suffer that. Yeah.
Actually, I think it was it was right before I started stand up when I finally.
There it is.
Right. I think I'm gonna get off here though because.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, thank
fog.
you. Thank you so much for hanging and doing the podcast again.
Yeah, I hope I was interesting at least for a minute.
Yeah, no, thoroughly enjoyed it. We got to talk about current events, some politics. We got to talk about Germany. We got to talk about Don Imus.
Yeah, never saw that one coming. Have me back anytime. I love it. I have a good time.
Thanks, Melissa.
Right,
take it easy. Bye.
Yeah,
catch you later.
Oh, leave meeting. There we go.
Oh, you're the host now. Oh no,
I gotta make you a host.
Okay, make me the host. I'm the host now. Okay.
Look at me. I'm the host now.
I'm the captain now.
There she goes.
There she goes again. That was good.
That was great.
Yeah.
Great podcast. Wow, we covered a lot like always.
Yeah.
So cool. We'll probably do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to ask her. I was trying to figure out a way to get into it, but I wanted to ask her if she had any experiences or what her thoughts are about the whole Crystalia thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like when you brought up Theo Von, it's like she knows all those people.
Does she?
It's kind of weird.
Oh, from Kill Tony.
Yeah, and just hanging around a comedy store.
Oh right.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting. Although I think Melissa's a little old for Chris.
Yeah, maybe at this point. Well, she's 30 now, but when was she on Kill Tony?
I don't know, but still, it'd be still too old unless it was like 20 years ago. I mean, 10. No, 15. I don't know. Cool. Yeah, I'm getting super tired, so I guess I have to.
Yeah, same here.
I've been up since 5 a.m.
Why?
I just woke up at 5 a.m. and
Kept
I didn't want to lay in bed, so I got up and planted some flowers.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're a farmer now. You're waking up before the sun comes up and planting stuff.
Planting and hoping for a nice harvest this fall. Cross your fingers. All right. Thank you, Ramon. Oh, not supposed to salute, but I did. Have a good night, man.
Good night.
All right.